Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Hicks Flicks Solo Show. I, of course, am your host, Sean Hicks, and I'm also currently one-third of the cast of the Multiverse Dungeon podcast on YouTube. Now, if you haven't seen the Multiverse Dungeon podcast, I run that with two of my closest friends, Mike Charles and Sean Barry, where we talk about anything going on in the entertainment world from a week-to-week basis, whether it be music, games, movies, sports, anime. You name it, we talk about it, we digest it, we give you our thoughts for the fans, the viewers, yourselves watching this video now. That's pretty much all there is to say about that. This week on the Hicks Flick Solo Show, I will be talking to you guys about a number of different topics, but I'm going to start with one that is very common on my channel, and that is, of course, the New York Football Giants, as we have just made two recent signings. Geno Smith, quarterback, famous for his time with the Jets, and Antoine Blake, cornerback from a number of different teams, but just coming off the Tennessee Titans. Now, as a fellow co-host Mike Charles can tell you, Geno Smith was not a quarterback prospect that I was at all thrilled about signing with the Giants. But the more digging, the more research I did, I'm starting to warm up to the idea of Geno Smith being a New York Giant. This is a rebuilding season for Geno Smith. He's come off with some controversy in the last couple seasons with a torn knee, a broken jaw, arguing with fans. But this is a rebuilding year for him. Geno Smith is not expecting to play, as Eli Manning was one of three quarterbacks last season who played the entire season. I believe it was Eli Manning, Andrew Luck, and Andy Dalton were the only three quarterbacks last season who played every game, every snap, through every pass. So Geno Smith is excited to be able to work with the Giants coaching staff and, of course, to be able to learn from the big man himself, who we know is on his last season or two with the New York Giants before he calls it a career. Now, I was expecting the New York Giants to draft a quarterback candidate this year, but if they were to do that now in this state of the game, they would now have a committee of four quarterbacks deep. That, of course, being Eli Manning, Geno Smith, Josh Johnson, who they resigned last week. Ryan Nassib, who was the backup, he was let go. He's now hit free agency. So we would have, like I said, Eli Manning, Geno Smith, Josh Johnson, and then an unnamed fourth quarterback if we were to draft one. Now, of those four quarterbacks, only two really get focused on during training camp. So most of the attention, presumably, would be on Eli Manning and Geno Smith. I mean, what can we say? I mean, if you're going to rebuild, what better mentor to have than Eli Manning, who is obviously one of the future Hall of Fame candidates coming down the line. Coach Jerry Reese is, of course, he's listed some positive comments about signing Geno Smith, saying that Geno has great positive attitude and he's looking forward to learning and competing in our quarterback room. That being said, I'm going to end it with Geno Smith by just giving you his career stats to date, guys. He has a completion rating of 57.9 overall, 5,962 passing yards, 28 touchdowns, and 36 interceptions, giving him an overall quarterback rating of 72.4. Moving away from him, we of course have Valentino Blake, a fifth-year veteran cornerback. Of the 5 seasons he has played, he's only managed to miss 2 games, so it's good. It's a good sign. We've got a good, healthy cornerback on our side. He started, like I said, with the Jacksonville Jaguars, played 2013 to 2015 with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and of course last season being with the Tennessee Titans. He has played 78 games. He has managed to amass 183 tackles, 29 of those being assists, 1 for a sack. He has had 3 interceptions in his career, 1 for a touchdown. Valentino Blake, of course, joins a committee of talented defensemen, as the Giants are known for going after solid defensive players. That's pretty much all I have on the New York Giants. I'm very excited to see what next season has to offer us, but I'm going to transition now into another form of TV. I've recently been acquainted with the show Lucifer on Hulu. I was able to catch up on the first 2 seasons, and I must say that I am quite a big fan. The two most important actors in the show would be, of course, Tom Ellis, who plays the character Lucifer, and Lauren German, who plays Detective Chloe Decker. Now, the show Lucifer is based off a DC comic, which I did not know going into it. I found that out later. Now, Lucifer is a show on Fox. I'm not really acquainted with Fox as well. I'm not used to watching Fox TV, but Lucifer to me is proving to be one quality show. It's very biblical, as of course the main character is Lucifer, the fallen angel, who is bored and tired of running hell, and he decides to try and rebuild himself in Los Angeles, of course, where he owns a nightclub. Lucifer has to, of course, he clashes with other biblical characters who try to drag him back to hell and get him back to doing his old job, to which Lucifer refuses. The show is centered around him. Basically, there's this one character played by Lauren German, Chloe Decker, the detective. She's a homicide detective for the LAPD, and she seems to be the only one in the world who can resist Lucifer's charms and powers, and this fascinates him, and so he is drawn to this character. They pretty much team up throughout the entire span of the show, solving cases which tend to tie into Lucifer's own backstory on Earth. The show is really good. It's coming in. They've just signed a 22 episode agreement for season 3, which will release in May, and I recommend, if you have Hulu, watch the first 2 seasons. I give it my thumbs up. Moving on from there, we're going to have our last topic of the day. I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown of a game which I am very excited for. Mass Effect Andromeda drops tomorrow, which I have pre-ordered. Now, this new trilogy of games for Mass Effect is supposed to parallel the original trilogy with Colonel Shepard, being just in a different part of the galaxy. Now, I've been excited for this game since I've heard of its inception, but it's met with some mixed reviews. IGN gave this game a 7.7 out of 10 stars, saying that it just doesn't really offer anything new. So if you're a hardcore fan of the series, you will probably like this game. I mean, a couple friends of mine who managed to get early access say that the beginning of the game is rather slow and sluggish, but if you can get through that, you're in for one hell of a cinematic experience. And this game just recaptures the soul of the first 3. The first Mass Effect, of course, being the original, was met with such popularity and such praise from critics, getting a 9 out of 10 stars right off the bat. The Mass Effect series, of course, is one of the most popular to hit the Xbox console, and Mass Effect Andromeda, of course, drops tomorrow. Pretty much my entire plan for tomorrow is pick up the game and play it, so I'll probably give you guys a breakdown of what I think of the game in person on my next solo show next week. But that's really all the time I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I hope you guys learned something. I hope I said something which fascinated you, struck a chord. Like, share, subscribe. Keep an eye out for future Multiverse Dungeon podcast videos, of course. We got MJC TV, hosted by Mike Charla, where he talks about whatever's on his mind. Lately, he's been doing a countdown of wrestlers, his favorite wrestlers and stuff like that. Check it out. He makes a lot of good arguments. And then, of course, we have Sean, the Bomber Barry, with his hilarious Pokemon playthroughs, and his commentary is really what makes the episodes great. So be sure to stay tuned and check in for more Multiverse Dungeon podcast content. Thank you guys, and have a great day.